Good day. Welcome back to another week of Talking Technical. And we've got some nice, interesting charts here. But somebody asked me the other day, where can you follow the movements of the speculation group? Well, the speculation group is a closed group. We've got members that's joining that group. And if you want to see how we perform, you can always look at Twitter. My handle there is Trader Frans, and every evening I will sometimes post 50 points in the bank or 100 points or 50 points out the bank, whatever the case may be. And then you can start to follow our progress. But if you really want to become a member, the best is to drop me an email at frans@fransdeklerk.com, or even look at our website, www.fransdeklerk.com. And well, let's kick off with the first chart. Well, the very first chart is, of course, the Nikkei of Japan. What a rally. It started in 2023 at around 27,000. It moved in a couple of weeks from 27 to 33. It sort of gave a little bit of a breather. It made an inverse head and shoulder. And the reason why I did not even spot it, because I don't look at the Nikkei that often, but look at this. There's a beautiful inverse head and shoulder. There was the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and it played out to the T now. So for those viewers that is still involved with the Nikkei of Japan, I think we are maybe close to a top, because if I look at this candle, it looks like there's maybe a reversal happening here. But where will this reversal confirm? And this reversal will confirm only below 36,305. And above 37,000, this index can just steam ahead. So for me, I think it's too late to buy. Look at the 40-week moving average. I just want to see if it's a 40-week. No, it's a 50. I just want to change that to a 40-week. There you are. If you look at the 40-week moving average, it's still solidly on the grow at 32,550. And that was another question that I received this week on moving averages. The person asked me, Frans, sometimes you talk about a 50-day moving average, sometimes you talk about a 200-day moving average, sometimes you talk about a 40-week moving average. Now, what's the difference? It is only the time frame of the chart that change your mind. If you look at the daily chart, you will sometimes look at a 50-day moving average. I know some traders like to use a 21 and an 8-day. When it crosses up, they know that the momentum goes up on the short term. And if you look at the weekly chart, the old well-known 40-week moving average, what a chart. If you look at the 40-week moving average, you can always see if that turns into a support, off it goes. And look what it did, tested that beautifully. But there was almost a year between 2022 and 2023 where the Nikkei of Japan absolutely did nothing. It just hovered around there. It didn't want to open up its mind. But what do we see is, and I just want to show you, and that I want to show you because you can use it on any weekly chart. If you look at the weekly chart and the share does this, maybe a massive descending channel, or sometimes you get a beautiful falling wedge. In this case, it was almost like you can say there was a consolidation. There was a little bit of a shakeout here. Look at it. There's a beautiful triangle here. And what happened when this triangle broke at 28,469? It was just one way to the top. So for me, if I look at the weekly chart, I like to use the 40-week moving average. Sometimes you can use a 20 and a 40-week crossover. That's very bullish because that's what we call the golden cross. Or if it crosses to the other way, it's a dead cross. But the Nikkei of Japan, strong rally, but be careful. It looks like there's a little bit of a reversal candle taking place there right at the top. Let's see. It's still early, but it needs to go above 37,000 to make everybody optimistic again. Let's have a look at Anglo American. And the gold shares and the platinum shares and the miners in South Africa is really struggling. And if I look at this weekly chart, I just want to remove that line because I used it for one of our subscribers. Let's have a look here. Look at that classic descending channel. It is just negative. There was like a shakeout there. and we're still moving downwards on it. And remember, this is a weekly chart. For me, if I look at this chart, while the momentum is to the downside, maybe time just to leave it alone. But now I want to say something about commodities, and we chatted about it before. Commodities has the, you can almost say, the capability of either, if it starts to go up, it goes up in a straight line. And when it starts to lose momentum, look what it does. Whoops, off it goes, and then all the way to the downside. So for me, if there's a turnaround here on this chart, it's going to be a rapid turnaround. But look at the 40-week moving average, still a resistance. So it tells you there's not really support there. The buyers are not keen to buy because it's still below the 40-week moving average. But where will be the first sign of strength here? And I will say above that. Why? Because then we will have a higher low. There's a low, there's a maybe a higher low forming, and if it breaks above that, then we can maybe see that we're in the middle of the bang of this ascending channel. But what it also tells you is that it's maybe early signs that the share can maybe tick higher. But let's give you the level. The level will be 475.99. Above that, the weekly chart will start to show a proper reversal. Where's my moving average? My moving average sits at 512 Rand and 1 cent. And the momentum, or if I say the descending channel, will only break above 521.94. And if I look at this chart and I do a projection here, I can just tell you, if the commodities start to go, our market will probably go as well, because our market is really struggling. Or no, well, we know, there you are, there's the projection. It can maybe take the share all the way back to 622 Rand. Remember, our market's got its own unique problems. We've got the administration that's doing the wrong thing after the other. We've got the Rand that's weakening. And I always say, if the Rand weakens and the commodity shares are struggling, or the Rand hedges are struggling, it tells you there's an outflow of capital. So nobody wants to invest, and they're nervous. And that's why I'm a little bit nervous just to say, go in full on commodity shares. But it's maybe time to wait, maybe time to wait for the candles to turn around. And for the viewer that asked about Anglo American, my friend, I think it's still maybe a little bit early. If you do buy, or you wait for 475.99, where's your stop loss? Your stop loss will be at 418. Maybe at that time, when it turns around, it will probably be a little bit of a tighter stop loss. But bet yourself a dollar, a massive giant like Anglo American, if you look at this chart, massive descending channel. Even if you extend it there on the weekly, look at that. If I draw that line in, there's this strong resistance. Let's have a look here. Let's just do that. I mean, strong descending channel here. I mean, building over months and months and months. Where did it start? It started right at the top here with the tweezer bottom, and it's still going down. But bet yourself a dollar, if this thing turns around, usually with the big counters like an Anglo American, it usually surprises you to the top. Let's have a look at Northam Platinum, also a counter, a platinum stock. And somebody asked about it and said, Frans, but I'm so tempted to buy some platinum counters. I just want to get involved with them. And my favorite pick, he says, is Northam Platinum. Well, I looked at the chart. And if I look at the weekly chart, because he said to me, Frans, it's for the long term that I would like to buy it. Well, first of all, there you are. If you look at the chart, there's the strong resistance. I mean, this resistance is coming all the way from where? It's coming from 2022. I mean, it's almost 2 years now that this share is under immense pressure. And what do we see if we do that? There's a falling wedge developing here. But what is the beauty here? The beauty here is that we're on the brink of turning this 40-week moving average into a support. And where's that 40-week moving average? That is sitting at 132.41. If that can turn into a support, that will be my first definite strong level to watch. And where's this falling wedge? This falling wedge will come into play just a little bit above that 40-day moving average at 138.41. But boy, oh boy, look at this target. Remember, this is a weekly chart. It's not a daily chart. So it's not going to be in 1 week where it plays out. It's usually going to take maybe a few months, because look at this move to the downside. It can maybe take a few months. If you look at that, and you just do the extension from there. I mean, that's a very conservative extension. If it breaks above this 138 level, wow, it can maybe go all the back to 215. But this chart looks interesting because some of the other platinum stocks, like the Impala Platinums and the Anglo Platinums, and they're struggling. They're really not showing any strength. But Northam definitely looks like there's maybe a little bit of a move coming here. But of course, as always, wait for the weekly chart to turn into a support. And where's my stop loss? My stop loss will be the low of this candle, that dragonfly candle. And my low will be 121.57. So from 121 to 138, not maybe a big stop loss there. But if I look at that nice move to the upside, if this guy can kick in. Let's have a look at one of the stocks. I mean, that I read the other day. I actually almost was happy that I sit on my chair, because if I looked at this stock, I just say to myself, can it be that this stock can? I just want to see if I've got the right here. AMD, sorry, AMD. This is a technology company. I mean, one of those big boys that develops microchips. But what shocked me was that the guy that wrote it, maybe he was completely wrong. Let's say he was wrong with a digit. That's also okay. He was saying that this PE of Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, that microchip developer and manufacturer of America, is sitting on a price earnings ratio of 157, but I read 1,500. So maybe I'm wrong. I doubt if I'm wrong. But boy, oh boy, that is looking scary to me. But for me, look at this rally. I mean, in a matter of October, it went from 95 to 170 in one go. And yes, we can maybe see the possibility of maybe a double top forming here. Maybe I'm wrong, but look at it. There was the top of that rally. That rally was also all the way from 74 to, can you believe it, to 164. Now, if it gets below 164, there's a chance of that this top and that top can call for a what we call a irregular double top. That's negative. But if it stays above that level, and that level is, I just gave it to you guys, 164.46, the momentum is to the upside. Look at this 40-week moving average. Strong move above it. I mean, it's way above it. It should pull back. Like in the past, it did that. It came back. Look at it. It fell away, tested. So it looks like it must give us a little bit of a pullback in time to come. But when I read this PE ratio, let's call it 158. I mean, that is hefty. So some of these counters, these technology companies, they in big demand, but what do they say to you? They are priced to perfection. Let's have a look at Microsoft. I mean, that's the other big boy in America. In actual fact, not a big boy, it's one of the top companies in the world. Now, everybody is looking at this cup and saucer, and there you are, a cup and handle. There it is, the cup. There's the handle. It reached the first target. And then there's some guys that say, listen, Microsoft is just on the boil now to go even higher. Now that can take the NASDAQ much higher if this guy can start to go. And where's the target? The target will be, can you believe it, 446. So watch this. The 40 week is strong. I mean, it is above the 40 week. The 40 week is to the upside, and it's a support, and the momentum is strong to the upside. But I'm just a little bit nervous. I mean, these stocks had some massive rallies. I did not check the PE ratio of this one, but for me, I think it's maybe too late to buy, and just be a little bit careful. If you chase momentum, and I don't chase momentum, is 384 your stop loss, 384, and trading now at 396. Let's have a look at another one, and this is quite an interesting one. You know, when solar was such a hot topic, everybody ran into the Norvesco solar ETF, also listed in America. And since everybody ran into it, it just dropped off the cliff. So look at it, momentum still down. And where will be the first sign to buy again? I just want to use that little line there. There's my resistance. and that will be $54.62. Above that, the momentum can go to the top. Where's my stop loss? My stop loss will be, and remember, ETF, you must always have a little bit of a bigger stop loss. In actual fact, with an ETF, it's more of a kind of investment where you accumulate over time. Stop loss 40.55, but it just shows you when everybody's in a hot topic talking solar, it doesn't mean that all solar ETFs will go up. Sometimes it gets sold off, like in Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin was listed, was approved by the SEC in America, and suddenly it is almost $8,000 down. Let's have a look at Motus. This is an interesting chart. Last week, it suddenly got one massive rally. I mean, it was such a strong move that I actually looked at it for somebody else, and it actually touched the support. Look at it, 87.52, 90.45, all the way up to 91.35. But this move was immense. I mean, it was a 10% move in 1 week. It did pull back a little bit, but I mean, what a rally. But for me, if you like Motus shares, let's have a look there. But I'm a little bit nervous because I say to myself, the retail market of the cars are maybe struggling a little bit. But who am I? I'm not in that business. I will not know the inside of it. But for me, look at that. There is a beautiful symmetrical triangle developing, and it's quite simple. Only above 105.80 it can break to the upside and maybe reach for the target. Let's just do the projection there. And this is the scary thing about a symmetrical triangle. A symmetrical triangle has a few things. First of all, it can either keep you busy for quite a while. That sometimes happen a lot. And then on the other hand, a symmetrical triangle can sometimes break to the downside. So yes, if it breaks above this 106 level, it can maybe go all the way to the top to 118.86. But what's the scary thing? If it breaks below 91.92, it can go all the way down and it can go to 78.78. And we're playing around this 40-week moving average that is sitting on 97.07. So it just shows you that there's a lot of nervousness. But while this symmetrical triangle is on the build, you'll never know. Some people will talk about a flag formation. Some people will say because the momentum is to the downside, we're working inside the flag formation. The reason why we're going to go down is because the momentum is to the downside. But I've also seen in the past that the symmetrical triangle can always go up or down. Why do I say that? Remember, and I've said it many a time on the program, that technical analysis is not an exact language or an exact science. It can mess you around because it is working around emotions. Just look at it. We talked about it before. I think a few months ago, there was a left shoulder, there was the head, there was the right shoulder, and boy, oh boy, it played out to the T. But I mean, that's just to recap a little bit that happened on this chart. Let's have a look at Zeda. Also in the car business, this company is saying that they're doing very well with all the tourists that visit South Africa. And I mean, you can remember that ugly period where it was just sold off after the listing. It's sort of building a base here, and it is above the 40-week moving average. But for me, if you want to buy it, I will wait for this. Strangely enough, I'm a little bit more conservative because the retail market is under pressure, and I think the big flush into South Africa on the tourists is maybe a little bit over now. We passed December, and look at the shadows. For me, only a buy above this, and that will be 13 Rand 43. Where's my stop loss? My stop loss will be at 12 Rand and 7 cents. Remember, this is all weekly charts this week, and if it breaks above that, where can it go to? It can go to 13.59, 14.18, 14.41, and maybe as high as 15.02. Let's hope for that. Let's hope it turns around, because if this turns around and Motus turns around, things in South Africa can also maybe turn for the better for the consumer. Well, once again, thank you for watching the show. We thank you for all the emails that we do get. Sometimes it's emails for requests, and sometimes just to thank us. Thank you very much. And remember, any comment is welcome. That's how we improve the service. Visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com, for more info. And as usual, we will chat again.